We're not gonna take it anymore. That's right, breaking cruise news for weeks. Many of us islanders have been worried about a potential cruise shutdown. Will the CDC step in and say you can cruise no longer? No, it is official. There will not be a cruise shutdown. It's official. The CDC will not extend the conditional sail order. We have this breaking cruise news right now on Island Time. A big Thursday hello to all you islanders and welcome to the show. Welcome to Island Time. We all need this time in the islands today, and I promise you it's going to be a good time today. I am your host, Derek, and let's get things started. First, I want to tell you this. We have a huge goal. We want to reach 5,000 subscribers this month by the end of January. We're currently at over 4,700 subscribers. Join today. We have great news for you. Join today. Come be an islander. We would love to have you. And let me say thank you to the 2 Norwegian Cruise Line employees who reached out to me yesterday. They provided some extra context on the cancellations that Norwegian has announced, even one cancellation on the Norwegian Pearl that was mid-cruise. They told me simply, there's so many crew that are in quarantine or infected with COVID that they cannot perform the security they need to perform on the ship. I didn't even think about this, but what if there were an emergency? What if there were a fire on board, an abandoned ship call? Simply, they told me they did not have the crew that they needed, the numbers they needed to man the stations, and that Norwegian Cruise Line felt on the Norwegian Pearl that they had to end the cruise because so many of the crew were sick so early on in the sailing, day 2 of day 11. Thank you so much to those 2 Norwegian employees who reached out, and let's get to this right now. I want to go ahead and ask a question. I'll go ahead and tell you. The CDC came out late yesterday and said we are not going to reissue the conditional sail order. There's not going to be a cruise shutdown, lockdown. It's not going to happen. We are excited about that news, and because we are, I have to ask this, and I want you guys to respond. When is your next cruise? Because it's going to happen, and what are you most excited about? When and what? So many of you have been stressed and worried. You've had anxiety. Should I cancel? Should I go? Will my cruise be canceled for me? That answer is no. If you have a cruise booked, more than likely you're going. There's a couple of conditions where you won't. We'll talk about that, but more than likely you are going. When are you going, and what are you most excited about? Let's get into this cruise news. I cannot wait to do it. The cruise industry is not shutting down. Cruise industry is not shutting that down, and here is why. There is a difference between a shutdown and cancellations. Are we going to see a shutdown based on what the CDC said late yesterday? No, there is not going to be a shutdown, not a soft shutdown. I saw several bloggers yesterday say, here comes the soft shutdown. Nope, it's not. Not a hard shutdown. There will not be a shutdown where cruise ships, cruise lines, the industry is halted and paused. It's not going to happen. Can there be cancellations of particular sailings or ships? Yes, we've seen that on Norwegian Cruise Line. We've seen Royal Caribbean come out with a couple of cancellations. There can be cancellations. Let's remember the difference in the two. There will not be a shutdown there. Do not believe that. The only way that we have a shutdown is if cruise lines in particular shut down particular sailings, okay? So if you're cruising, if you have a cruise booked, you are more than likely going unless your sailing is canceled, which I don't see that happening too much. Why will there not be a shutdown? Cruise lines have worked to prove that they can self-regulate themselves for decades. They've especially proven that they can self-regulate themselves over the past 6 months since the cruise restart. Think about all the work they've done with the CDC. They've listened to them. They've done research. They've worked collaboratively together. They're usually competitors, but they've worked together to see what works, and they have proven we can self-regulate ourselves. And we're not just saying that. We can keep our crew safe, we can keep passengers safe, we can keep local places that we visit safe. We can do it, and the CDC agrees. The cruise industry has welcomed the scrutiny, welcomed the questions. Come on, media, bring it on. And they've gone through it all and proven that cruising is safe. Maybe the safest vacation that you can go on right now. The latest examples of the cruise industry doing what they need to do to make sure they can prove themselves is Norwegian Cruise Line. Just our show yesterday, we talked about they self-imposed the red flag, the red category that the CDC has never used. Red category means the sailing is over. The CDC has always had the power to say, nope, that ship is red, turn around, come home, you're done. Norwegian did that themselves because it was the right thing to do. It's the thing they needed to do. I think that went far in proving that cruise lines can self-regulate within themselves. Royal Caribbean also called off its Spectrum of the Seas cruise for January the 6th. After 9 guests on the January the 2nd trip were identified as close contacts to a local Hong Kong COVID-19 case. Again, canceled a trip. Yes, does it cost the cruise lines money? Yes, it does. Is it the right thing to do? Yes. Does it prove they can self-regulate? Yes, it does. This proves that cruise lines, not the CDC, have and know the real-time data. They know the conditions on board. They know the protocols. And they know them not because it's on a sheet on the wall of the public area on the crew deck. It's because they train these protocols. They train their crew, and they're living these protocols every single day. They are ready to make decisions no matter how tough the decision is, even if it means you cancel a cruise, you deal with upset and angry passengers. They've proven they can and will do it. Do you think cruise lines have done enough to self-monitor? I want to know your honest comments. There will be yeses in these comments in the section below. There will be no's, but I want you to weigh in. Do you think cruise lines have proven that they can self-regulate, they can self-monitor, and they can keep crew and passengers safe? Let us know in the comment section below. And while you're there, please give us a thumbs up. Please give us a like. All of those likes help in the YouTube algorithm put this video in front of other people who are interested in cruising just like we are. Let's get to the major news. The news from the CDC. Get this. The CDC reaffirmed yesterday, and we're using Cruise Critic here, who we've used several times as a source and who I have followed for over a decade. The CDC reaffirmed to Cruise Critic yesterday that the conditional sail order will transition. It will transition to a voluntary program on January the 15th. There will not be a new conditional sail order. It will not be extended. This is from Cruise Critic. The conditional sail order started, and a lot of us remember this, as the no sail order in March of 2021. Shut down, locked, done. We thought for 30 days, 60 days. Who would have ever thought it was almost a year and a half? Cruise lines operating to or from the United States have since had to adhere and go by this conditional sail order, this set of protocols and rules. They've been directives. They've worked in conjunction with the CDC to say, are we safe to cruise? What do we need to do to be safe? The CDC has been involved. The CDC stated that the conditional sail order will be converted to a voluntary program on January the 15th. They confirmed that at 12:01 a.m. January the 15th, it will transition into a voluntary program. Now, cruise lines are expected to follow this program. They've already kind of insinuated that they will follow this program for the time being. How have they said that? A lot of people will ask me that. They have already extended a lot of these updates, the vaccine requirements, the masking indoors. They've already extended that through February and March. So for the time being, you're going to see some of the same policies. It's not like we're going to wake up on January the 16th and have a whole new set of policies. For the short time, you're going to see the CSO look the same. It's voluntary, but what does this mean? Here's what it means. Cruise lines will now have the flexibility and freedom to change COVID-19 protocols themselves. Whenever they think the time is right, they can pull back the mask requirement for indoors. They can say no masking indoors if they want to. If they want to change the testing requirement to be 3 days before sailing, if they want to say eventually you don't have to have a test to cruise, they will be able to do that. They will have the flexibility to change and establish protocols that they think will keep cruising safe for passengers and crew. Now, I don't expect within a quick amount of time that cruise lines will strip away all of this, because that's not what is going to keep them on the water. They realize they have to have policies and protocols to keep cruising, but they're going to be able to make decisions that are scientifically based and data based, because they're experts. They're running the operation. They're running the cruise. They are experts, and they should be making the decisions, and they now have the freedom and flexibility to do so. The CDC will still stay on board for guidance and for advice and consulting, and they can help with investigations in case a big outbreak takes place on a cruise ship. The cruise lines can always go back to the CDC and say, hey, can you help us with this? So it's going to be interesting to see how things change. I don't think they will into the first quarter of this year, but as we get into the summer, okay, it's going to be interesting to see how summer cruising looks like. How is it different from the first part of this year? We're going to see, you know that, but it's great news today for all you islanders, for all of you excited about your cruise. You should book your flights, book your hotel, book your excursions, your specialty dining, because you are going, and I am thankful and proud, and I'm excited for you. We'll stick with this story and all of the stories that are breaking. There's so much going on in the industry. I did not want to mention some of the negative stories that are out there today, because this is a positive day. Let us know what you think of this huge breaking story in the comment section below. I invite you to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and of course our Facebook group. The link for our Facebook group is in the description of this video. Join our group. It is very active. We would love for you to be an islander. We'll talk to you tomorrow right here on Island Time.